One thing you're known for is picking the commodity revival. Are you selling commodities yet?
Oh, no. Commodities have years to go. If I were a good short-term trader, and I am the single worst short-term trader in the world, but if I were a good one, I might try to trade some of them as, when they run up, sell them, and then buy them back here. There are people who are very good at that. I am not. So in my experience, it's better not to sell anything in a secular bull market. Just own it through the bull market. That's what I expect to do. The bull market has years to go in commodities. Partly because of here, partly because of what's happening in China.
So what particular commodities are you picking? What are you backing at the moment?
Well, I own them all, but if I were looking at new commodities to buy now, I would probably focus on agriculture. In fact, I am focusing. I've been buying some more agricultural commodities recently. ABN and Merrill Lynch both have products based on my agricultural index, but I bought some of those recently because I think that agriculture is the best place. I personally don't buy individual commodities anymore because my lawyer says, don't. You'd be crazy to. Somebody will sue you. But if I were looking for new investments in commodities, I would look at agriculture, maybe something like cotton, which is 60% below its all-time high, or sugar, which is 85% below its all-time high, or coffee, which is 50% below its all-time high. Things like that might be interesting right now if somebody went and did some homework.
What about uranium? What do you think about uranium at the moment?
Well, uranium is having a revival. The Chinese alone are building 25 nuclear power plants, as you know, and many countries are. And even in America, people are starting to say, well, maybe, even the environmentalists are starting to say, maybe nuclear power is not so bad because it is cheaper, it is cleaner than other forms of energy, and if it's properly contained, it's safe, unless you have an accident, of course. But now, you and I are not the only people who know that uranium is having a revival. It's up about 10 times from its low. It went up 15 times from its low. It's had a reaction recently. So it's up 10 times. Should you buy it now? I don't know. I don't own uranium. It's not, there's no futures market in uranium, so I haven't paid too much attention to it. They're trying to develop a futures market, and if they do, then maybe I'll be more interested. Another commodity where there's no futures, where there's huge opportunity, is water. I mean, nobody's developed a futures market in water, but there are going to be great fortunes made in water over the next 10, 20, 30 years.
Isn't that worrying, the fact that we're going to commoditize water, which, through history has been regarded as a free commodity, like the air we breathe? Isn't that a concern? I mean, we're going to be going to war over water. We're going to be... Bill Clinton's warning about this now.
We know that there were wars east of the Red Sea over oil. There are probably going to be wars west of the Red Sea over water, because there are huge water problems developing there. In the American Southwest, maybe wars between the states over water, because some states have it and some don't. But water is becoming a gigantic problem in many parts of the world. If you're going to invest in water, I would not own water. I would advise you not to own water, because you're right. If and when the crises develop, if you own water, if you're lucky, the politicians are going to hang you in the public square, because they're going to snarl and sneer and say, you filthy evil capitalist trying to make money off man's God-given right to water. What is wrong with you? As I say, if you're lucky, they'll just hang you. Maybe a lot worse than that. But if you can figure out a way to transport it, clean it up, whatever, they'll kiss your feet. They'll put a monument to you in the public square, and you'll make a vast fortune.
So why are you so committed to emerging markets?
Well, actually, I've sold out of all the emerging markets in the world except China in the last little while. I've been investing in emerging markets for decades. I was investing in these markets before they were called emerging markets. Wall Street came up with this marketing term called emerging markets. I just used to think they were cheap markets, and so I'd buy them if I saw opportunities. And some I had owned for 20, 25 years. I didn't particularly want to sell some of them, but right now there are probably 20,000 MBAs flying around looking for new emerging markets. They're all getting exploited. They're all being driven up. So I've sold them. I usually sell things too soon. I hope that if there is a correction, if there is a new opportunity, that I will be brave enough and smart enough and liquid enough to buy some of them back. But right now I'm out of all of them, except China. I'm still in China.
Warren Buffett is is warning about the Chinese stock market right now. Do you agree with him? You think that's, I mean, he's saying it's quite overvalued and he's just sold out of PetroChina. Yeah. What do you think is going to happen? I mean, what's your view on PetroChina and what's your view on the stock market in general?
Well, I have never owned PetroChina, so I don't really know much about it. I know it went through the roof, and certainly a very big and successful company. There is an incipient bubble developing here. I'm convinced, I'm not convinced, I don't think it's a bubble yet. If it goes up 40%, I mean, just picking numbers, if it keeps going up like 40% by February, then I'll have to sell. The Chinese government knows that a bubble is potentially developing, and they're trying to do something about it. They're not doing a very good job of doing something about it, but if something causes it to go down 30 or 40% by February, then the bubble will be prevented. It'll be great. Then I'll buy more shares probably. But if it keeps going up, I'll have to sell.
Could you give us just 5 picks? If you could pick 5 things, sort of specific things, what would you...
buy?
Yeah, 5 stock picks or commodity picks, whatever.
I would buy the renminbi.
Buy the renminbi, if you can. Yeah.
Well, you can buy the renminbi. I mean, even if you buy 8 shares in Hong Kong or ADRs in America or Singapore shares, you own Chinese companies.
Sure.
And the
renminbi... You're making profits in renminbi.
Right, and who are making profits in renminbi.
You're buying it in foreign currency.
You're buying it in foreign currency, but basically it's determined, the renminbi is one of the determining factors of what happens. And eventually you're going to own renminbi because eventually the renminbi is going to be convertible. The Chinese government is working towards making it convertible. I'd buy the renminbi, I'd buy the Swiss franc. These are things I am buying. The renminbi, the Swiss franc, the yen. I would short investment banks in America. 5. And I'd buy the Rogers Agricultural Index, which I've been buying. I've bought more recently. I bought some last week, and I'm buying some next week. That's 5. Did I get 5? Good.
That's 5. Thanks very much for your time. We've been speaking with Jim Rogers, international investor and author.